Hi, I'm Dawn from parkinsonsandus.com. Welcome. Tonight we're going to make soft pretzels. And yes, I say tonight because making soft pretzels is a two-step process. The first thing you want to do is you want to make your dough, and then you want to let it sit for about 12 hours. So I'm going to make the dough tonight, and then I'm just going to set it aside, let it sit overnight, and then tomorrow in the morning I will take the dough, we'll roll it, and we'll bake it off. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to measure out 3 cups of all-purpose flour. I like to use organic flour, and when I measure it, I use a knife to just kind of level off the top. Next, we're going to use 1 teaspoon of sea salt, and then we're going to use 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. Now you can use honey if you prefer honey, but I personally like maple syrup. And then next, this is my sourdough starter. I love this stuff. We're going to use a 1/2 cup of sourdough starter. This starter I actually keep on my counter, and I feed it every couple days, and I love it. I use it for so many things, so many recipes. And then we're going to use 1 cup of filtered water, and that's it. And we just put it on the blender, and we're going to blend it up. You want to start slow. And just blend it up slowly. Take your time and let all the ingredients mix together. And then every once in a while, you want to scrape down the sides of your bowl. I usually end up doing this probably about 3 times. I'll blend it for a bit, and then I'll scrape down the sides, and then I'll blend it again, and then I'll scrape down the sides, and I do this about 3 times. All in all, I end up blending for about 5 or 10 minutes. You just want to let it go and let it get nice and smooth. And it actually, you want your dough to pass, they call it the window pane test. It's where you stretch out the dough with your hands and your fingers, and if it looks kind of a little bit see-through, you can see light through it as you're stretching the dough, that's the window pane test, and that means you're good to go. And that for me took about 10 minutes. So don't worry about just letting your blender go, just letting it be. Okay, I think we're done. It's nice and smooth. And now we're just going to take that out, and we're going to let it sit. Look at that, nice. We're just going to put it in this bucket. Let it be. We're going to let it sit overnight. You want it to rest for about 8 to 12 hours. Okay, so now the dough has rested for about 12 hours. So now we are going to take out the dough and we're going to roll the pretzels. This is the fun part. And just know that the dough, because it had rested for so long, it might be a little bit sticky. That's okay. You don't want to add too much flour because it'll make the dough tough. Just be patient and work using your hands to gently get it out of the bucket. And now you want to lightly flour your dough because we're going to be cutting the dough. You may want to use a little bit of flour on your bread cutter as well. We're going to cut it in half. And then we're going to cut each half in half. So now you'll have quarters. You'll have 4 pieces. And then once you do that, you're going to cut each quarter in half. So ultimately, you're going to have 8 pieces of dough to make 8 pretzels. So now I like to use a little bit of oil here on my surface. I'm using avocado oil, but you can also use like olive oil. Just, it helps a little bit when you're rolling the dough so it doesn't stick to your surface. So we're just gonna roll each piece out to about maybe 20-24 inches. You wanna just roll it out evenly. And then we're gonna make a U shape and then cross each piece twice and then bring it over and kind of pat down the ends at the bottom of the U. So again, we're going to roll this out. This just takes practice. I'm not the expert by any means, but it's fun. You do a U shape and then twist twice and then bring those ends down. I also find sometimes it helps just to roll the dough in your ropes and then let them just sit for a little bit. Sometimes when you roll it, it will shrink back, and that's just because the gluten is a little bit tough and it has not had a lot of time to rest. So just be patient, roll each piece out into your ropes and then let it rest. And then you can go back and make the pretzel shape. And I promise the more you do this, the easier it gets and the prettier your pretzels will look. All right, one more time. You're gonna make a U and then twist those ends twice and then bring them down to the bottom and pinch them. And then I like to cover the pretzel dough with damp towels, and we're gonna let them sit for 1 hour. Okay, so now the dough has sat for 1 hour, and now we're going to boil the pretzels. So I'm taking 2 tablespoons of baking soda in a pot of boiling water. And basically you're just going to take the pretzels and dip them in the boiling water for about 30 seconds on each side. And the reason we do this is it gives the pretzels a nice kind of golden color. And then I sprinkle a little bit of sea salt. I don't like to put a lot of salt on my pretzels. So instead, I just sprinkle a little bit of sea salt on them. But you can always use that coarse salt like they use on a Bavarian pretzel if you wish. Now we're just finishing up, sprinkling them with a little bit of salt, and we'll put them in the oven And we put them in the oven for about 15 minutes at 425. Okay, now they're done. Look at that. So beautiful, and they smell so good. See how they're nice and golden? We probably could have let them bake for a few minutes more to get a little more golden on top, but I couldn't wait, so I took them out after 15 minutes. They're done. Nice. So we did it. We made soft pretzels. Some are prettier than others, but I had fun doing it. I'm not the expert on making these pretzels. I do need more practice, but they smell good and I can't wait to try them. So I hope you liked this video, and I hope you'll give making soft pretzels a try. And as always, if you like this video, I would love it if you give it a thumbs up or comment below. And if you want to be part of the Parkinsonsandus community, I would love that too. It's a community filled with lots of love for caregiver support. I provide nourishing recipes and joyful living tips to caregivers everywhere. So until next time, bye for now.